Hello. Today's lesson is 11-8, and it's a problem-solving lesson. It's called Solve a Simpler Problem. You already know how to solve problems that have hidden questions and multiple steps. Today you'll learn how to solve problems by first solving a simpler problem. We looked at the question that was on the pretest for this lesson. It was a really tough question. Zero students in my class got it right. So we talked about it again and thought about how we could figure this out. It just asks how many triangles are in the design, but it's hard to remember to look not just for the little triangles that we see, but also the big triangle, the whole thing is a triangle. And then there's triangles inside as well, and I'll show you what I mean on the next slides here. There's 9 triangles that are small that we can see with the lines that are already there for us. Plus, if we look closely, we can see 3 medium-sized triangles. That's a medium-sized triangle in green. That's a medium triangle in pink. That's a medium triangle in blue. Plus, you can see 1 big triangle. The whole thing is a big triangle. So you do 9 small plus 3 medium plus 1 big to make 13 triangles total. Wow, tough. Describe a time when you had to break a task into smaller parts to complete it. So this is going back to the lesson talking about how you can do something tough by taking it one step at a time. Since today's the first day after spring break, I talked about my road trip I took all the way from Boston across Route 90 to the West Coast, and I took many small parts. We took nights off to sleep in Ohio, night off to sleep in Wisconsin, South Dakota, Montana, so we took it in small parts, and that so as an example of that kind of strategy. Okay, this is the kind of question we looked at today. The rug in Lance's room is a rectangle made up of squares. How many squares are on the rug? Well, at first we can see there's 8 squares, 8 small squares in front of us, but then are there bigger squares hidden inside there? This is tough. 8 small squares plus 3 big squares, and it was hard for me to highlight this in a way that was clear, but can you see that there's a square here made up of the 4 squares, and there's also a square in the middle. I highlighted it in purple, and then there's a square on the right made up of 4 squares as well. They overlap, but that's okay. Another problem like that, Louise sees that this tile design has triangles made up of smaller triangles. How many triangles are there in all? We made a list, talked about the small triangles and the big triangle. 5 triangles. There are the 1, 2, 3, 4 small ones, and there's the 5th one, the big one. Okay, this was one of the hardest problems today. This design has rectangles that are several different sizes. How many rectangles are there in all? So it helps if you make a list like they did here. I had students do that today. The number of small rectangles is 8. You can see each of these small rectangles. How many 1 by 2 rectangles are there? This is a 1 by 2 rectangle here. It goes across 1 and it goes down 2. Over here, this, I'm circling it with my mouse, is a second 1 by 2 rectangle. You got a third 1 by 2, a fourth 1 by 2. Think about the 1 by 2s that go across, remembering that there might be 1 by 2s in the middle, like this. And count them all. Fill in down here to show 1 by 2s, 1 by 3s, 1 by 4s. 2 by 2s would have to be 2 across and 2 down, like this. See if you can find 2 by 3s and 2 by 4 as well. Pause the video to fill in this table on your own. There it is filled in. And our last step to find the total number of rectangles is just to add all these numbers up. Altogether there are 30 rectangles. Wow. Tough question. Okay, a different kind of question. 4 friends met and each person shook hands with everyone else once. How many handshakes in all were there? So they suggest solving for 2 or 3 friends, drawing a picture, making a table. Pause the video to work this problem out on your paper. Altogether there were 6 handshakes. It's up on the screen now. So we worked through this problem as a class. Another one we did as a class. pause the video to read the problem and answer it. How many yellow links did she use? She used 6 yellow links. Another problem to read and pause and figure out. And the answer, $3. Here's another problem we did as a class. And the answer is 3 pieces. And the answer, 3 pancakes. Almost done. This is a good one to find a pattern. And there's the answer. Our last question. And the answer. And that was it for today.